Imagine walking into a casino for the first time. The air hums with electricity. Lights flicker like fireflies. Coins clatter in the distance, and 1,000 tiny victories echo through the room. You feel it, don't you? That quiet voice that whispers, "Tonight could be your night." But here's what no one tells you. That feeling, that pulse of luck, is engineered. Every sound, scent, and shimmer of gold around you was designed to pull you deeper into the illusion that you in control. Yet behind the glitz lies a cold, precise machine, one built on psychology, math, and myths we've believed for decades. Ex-casino workers have seen it all. The players chasing hot machines, the myths about oxygen pumping, the ones convinced the casino flipped a switch when they started winning. The truth? The system never needed to cheat. It just needed you to believe. You walk into a casino, and the lights hit you like a wave, gold, red, and the soft hum of digital chimes. Every machine flashes the same promise. This could be the one. But here's what most players never realize. Not all slot machines are created equal. Some are designed to pull you in. Others are designed to bleed you dry. I once spoke with a former slot tech who laughed when I asked if all machines paid fairly. He said, "Fair? They're all legal, but not all are kind. The difference lies in placement, payback, and psychology." Casinos know which machines are magnets, near entrances, restrooms, and high-traffic zones, and those are often the tightest. Why? Because they don't need to pay out big to attract players. The noise and motion do the work. Meanwhile, the high-volatility machines in quieter corners, the ones players overlook, sometimes carry better odds. But most people never make it that far. They stay where the lights are brightest and the payouts are stingiest. Casinos rotate machines strategically, moving loose, ones before too many people catch on. So chasing past luck is like chasing smoke. Never assume a busy slot is a lucky slot. Scout the floor. Watch the regulars. Look for the machines no one brags about, because sometimes silence hides opportunity. Every casino regular has whispered about it, the idea of hot and cold machines. You know, those streaks where one slot feels alive, spitting out wins, while another swallows cash like it's hungry for revenge. But here's the twist. That pattern isn't real. It's psychology, not probability. Slot machines run on random number generators, RNGs, tiny chips that don't have memory. They don't know they've gone cold, and they don't owe anyone a win. Each spin is a completely fresh roll of invisible dice, billions of outcomes flashing past every second. When you press the button, you just happen to land on one of them. That's it. But casinos want you to believe in streaks. That's why they flash lights when someone wins nearby, or crank up the sound of a jackpot hit. It fuels that instinct. Maybe it's my turn. It's the same reason players move from one machine to another, chasing warmth that never existed. I once watched a veteran gambler at the Wynn walk past 10 empty machines to play one a stranger had just left. "It's hot," he said. He lost in 6 spins. Stop chasing heat. A cold machine doesn't hate you, and a hot one doesn't love you. They're both random. Instead, focus on the math, the return to player, RTP, percentage. That's your real compass. You've probably heard someone say, casinos tighten the slots during busy hours. It sounds logical. More people playing, fewer wins to keep profits high. But here's the truth that ex-slot technicians quietly confirm. Modern machines don't work that way. Every slot's payout percentage, its RTP, is programmed deep into its software and approved by gaming regulators. Changing that setting isn't as simple as flipping a switch. It requires physical access, special chips, and approval logs. That means a casino can't just tighten up the floor when it gets crowded. But here's the sneaky part. They don't need to. During peak hours, more people play, and the constant motion creates the illusion that payouts have slowed. The truth is, variance spreads thinner across more players, so wins just look rarer. Casinos rely on perception, not manipulation. The buzz, the noise, the crowd, all of it fuels one simple emotion: hope. I once stood in a packed Vegas casino on a Friday night. Dozens of machines chiming, but few people actually cashing out. One player whispered, "They must have flipped the switch." I smiled. The only switch flipped was human belief. Play when you're focused, not when the floor is packed. Fewer distractions mean smarter decisions. You've seen them everywhere. The sleek, glowing slot club card readers flashing insert to earn points. It feels like a win-win. Play more, earn free meals, maybe even a comped room. But here's what former casino hosts will tell you. That little plastic card isn't just rewarding you, it's tracking you. Every spin, every bet, every pause is recorded. Casinos call it player behavior analytics. They know when you tend to play longer, when you start chasing losses, and how often you return after a big win. And while the card doesn't directly lower your odds, that's a myth, it does build a psychological loop. You start to think, I'm getting value back. But comps are based on your theoretical loss, not your wins. The more you lose, the more the system rewards you. I once chatted with a casino host who said, "We don't comp winners, we comp consistent losers." That line stuck with me. Sure, players' cards can get you perks, but they can also tether you to habits the casino counts on. It's behavioral marketing disguised as VIP treatment. Use your card only when you're disciplined. Set a time and bankroll before inserting it. Otherwise, you're playing right into the system's data trap. Walk through any casino and you'll notice it. Those bright, noisy machines right near the entrance, luring players in like sirens. They flash, they sparkle, they sound like celebration. And that's not an accident. Those machines are strategically placed to hook you before you even know it. Casino designers call these areas transitional zones, spaces where your brain is shifting from the outside world to the gambling floor. You're vulnerable, curious, and a little overstimulated. That's when those flashy machines work their magic. But here's the twist. Most of those entrance machines have lower payouts. Why? Because they don't need to be generous. They re-performing a different job, attracting, not rewarding. I once spoke with a floor manager who said, the machines that pay best aren't the ones that look the happiest. The looser slots are often tucked deeper inside, where players are already engaged, less likely to leave after a few losses. The entrance machines are bait. The back-of-floor machines are the net. You'll also find high-traffic spots near restrooms, bars, and cashiers. Follow the same logic. Bright, noisy, and tight. Don't get hypnotized by the first machines you see. Take a slow walk. The best-paying games are rarely at the door. Ah yes, the legendary oxygen theory. You've probably heard it whispered in casino bars or late-night forums. Casinos pump extra oxygen into the air to keep players awake and gambling longer. It's one of the most persistent myths in gaming culture, but is it true? Here's the reality. No reputable casino in the world pumps oxygen. It's not only illegal under fire safety laws, it's wildly impractical. The real secret lies in environmental design. Casinos master the art of keeping you comfortable, stimulated, and slightly disoriented. No windows, no clocks, and perfectly balanced air conditioning. The airflow, temperature, and subtle scent diffusers all create what's called sustained arousal state. You feel alert, energized, and timeless. A former Vegas operations manager once told me, "We don't need oxygen, we have psychology." He wasn't wrong. Music tempo, lighting hues, and even carpet patterns all work together to keep your focus inside the room and off the passing hours. So the myth of oxygen isn't about science, it's about design. Casinos already know how to make you forget fatigue without a single tank in sight. Take breaks every hour. Step outside, reset your senses, and check the clock. The moment you feel timeless, that's when the casino's design is working perfectly. There's something strangely satisfying about pulling that old-fashioned slot handle. That heavy click, the physical motion, the illusion of control. Some players swear the lever gives them better luck, saying, "I always win more when I pull instead of press." But here's what insiders know. That's just nostalgia dressed as superstition. Modern slot machines, whether they have a handle, button, or touchscreen, all trigger the exact same mechanism, the random number generator. The moment you initiate a spin, handle, or button, the result is already locked in. The handle doesn't slow the machine, doesn't affect the reels, and definitely doesn't improve odds. It's purely psychological, and casinos know it. In fact, slot designers deliberately kept the lever as a tactile illusion of power. It keeps older players engaged and younger ones intrigued. A former IGT engineer once said, "The handle's job is entertainment, not outcome." Still, there's something about that mechanical pull that feels right, and that's why casinos leave it. It's not magic, but it is marketing. Whether you tap, swipe, or pull, it's all the same. Don't waste energy on ritual, use it on strategy. Pick games with higher RTPs instead of trusting the handle. Slot tournaments. They sound like the holy grail of low-risk excitement. Rows of players spinning furiously, lights flashing, and that electric countdown racing towards zero. Everyone's chasing the leaderboard, hoping to snag a share of the prize pool. It feels thrilling, even fair. But ex-casino employees will tell you, these events aren't the jackpot goldmine most players imagine. Here's why. Slot tournaments are marketing tools designed to create energy on the floor and keep players in their seats longer. The entry fee or free credit incentive keeps you spinning. And while the prizes look impressive, the casino still wins by sheer volume of play. Most tournaments run on machines locked to tournament mode, where wins are faster and flashier but don't pay real cash during the round. It's dopamine on a timer. A former floor manager once told me, "It's not about who wins. It's about keeping everyone in flow." The illusion of competition distracts from the real game. Consistent player engagement. Still, for entertainment, they're a blast, especially when free entry comps are offered. But expecting profit? That's where players lose perspective. Treat tournaments like concerts, fun, social, and loud. Enjoy the thrill, but never confuse it with real advantage play. Every gambler's got one, a secret pattern. Maybe it's betting bigger after 2 losses, alternating spins, or tapping the screen just right. Players swear these rituals confuse the machine or wake it up. But here's what ex-slot programmers will tell you. The slot doesn't see you. It doesn't care. It's not even watching. Slot outcomes are determined by an algorithm called a random number generator, RNG, which runs thousands of calculations every second. The instant you hit spin, the machine freezes one snapshot in that endless flow of numbers. Every spin is independent, unaffected by how long you waited, how much you bet, or how you pressed. But casinos love betting patterns because they make you feel in control. That feeling keeps you playing longer. When you believe you've cracked the rhythm, you stop noticing the math, the consistent house edge doing its quiet, steady work. I once watched a guy at Caesar's Palace with a full notebook of patterns and timestamps. He said, "You just have to outsmart the cycle." After 2 hours, he was broke and still sure he was almost there. Forget patterns. Focus on pay tables and RTP percentages. That's where the real data lives. You've probably heard someone swear that a machine is due. Maybe it hasn't paid out in hours. Maybe it's owed a jackpot. It's the oldest myth in the casino playbook and one of the most dangerous. Because believing a slot is due means you're fighting math itself. Here's the truth. Slot machines don't track wins or losses. There's no invisible meter filling up behind the scenes. Every spin is a completely separate event decided by the random number generator, not by history. You could have a jackpot followed immediately by another jackpot, or go 1,000 spins dry, and the odds never change. But casinos want you to think you're getting closer. That belief keeps you in the seat longer, pumping money in, chasing a pattern that doesn't exist. Psychologists call it the gambler's fallacy, the illusion that past outcomes influence future ones. It's the same bias that makes us think a coin has to land heads next after 5 tails. I once asked a retired slot technician if he'd ever seen a machine warm up. He smiled and said, "Only when a player does." The moment you catch yourself saying it's due, step back. That's your cue to pause, not to double down. Every casino player has heard the legend. Play the machines near the doors. They re-looser to attract people inside. It sounds clever, even strategic. But if you ask former floor managers, they'll tell you that trick hasn't worked in decades. In fact, it's one of the most outdated myths in gambling. Back in the 1980s and early 90s, some casinos did place higher-paying machines near entrances to create that illusion of easy wins. People walking by would see flashing lights and hear jackpots ringing, social proof in stereo. But today, that tactic's obsolete. Modern casinos are optimized for retention, not attraction. The real goal is to keep you inside, not to lure you in with quick wins. Most entrance machines now serve as visual bait, high volume, low payout distractions meant to make the floor feel alive. The looser games are deeper in, where you've already committed time and emotion. That's where the casino quietly raises the edge. I once asked a shift supervisor in Reno if he'd ever seen a true entrance jackpot. He laughed. "Those machines pay in noise, not money. Skip the flashy entrances. Look for quieter sections where seasoned locals play. They know where consistency lives." Let us tackle one of the strangest myths still floating around casino floors, The idea that casinos can tighten or loosen slot machines remotely while you sitting there playing. You've probably heard someone grumble, "They flipped the switch after I started winning." Sounds sinister, but it's pure fiction. Here's the truth from the people who actually service those machines. In regulated casinos, slot settings are locked under strict gaming commission rules. Changing the payout percentage, known as the par value, requires physically swapping chips or using secure software updates logged by state regulators. It's not a 2-second Wi-Fi tweak. It's a compliance procedure. So why do players believe it? Because of timing. You hit a few wins, then suddenly nothing. It feels like the casino noticed. But that's just variance, random streaks that play tricks on your brain. Casinos don't need to tighten anything. The math already guarantees long-term profit. A former slot tech told me, if we could tighten them remotely, every casino in town would be doing it, but they'd all get caught. Never assume manipulation where probability explains it. Focus on choosing games with transparent RTPs and fair jurisdictions. It's a classic casino image, a waitress gliding between machines, tray of bright cocktails, offering free drinks with a smile. Players grin, toast, and keep spinning. But here's the truth. Those drinks are anything but free. In fact, they're one of the most profitable illusions in gambling. Casinos know that alcohol lowers inhibition, clouds judgment, and slows time perception. A tipsy player bets faster, chases losses longer, and ignores the math. Studies show alcohol can increase gambling losses by up to 30%. And yet, the system makes it feel like a reward, a thank you for being a loyal player. It's behavioral economics wrapped in hospitality. A former casino host once told me, that free drink probably cost you $100. He wasn't exaggerating. The longer you sit, the more the house edge quietly compounds. Even your sense of how long you've been playing starts to blur. Of course, there's nothing wrong with enjoying the atmosphere. Casinos are entertainment venues first. But free has never meant without cost. If you want a drink, pay for it. That small transaction keeps you in control, not the casino's psychology. So after all these myths, the hot machines, the do jackpots, the free perks, one truth remains. Casinos don't need to cheat to win. They've already mastered the art of psychology. Every sound, color, and share angle has been tested to keep you engaged just long enough for math to do its job. The house edge isn't a trick, it's a design. But knowing that doesn't make you powerless. In fact, it's the opposite. The real advantage goes to the player who treats gambling like entertainment, not income. You set limits, choose smart games, and walk away before the system turns curiosity into compulsion. That's how professionals survive where others spiral. I once watched a quiet player at the Bellagio finish a session early after doubling his bankroll. When I asked why he stopped, he said, "Because I like leaving with money." That's not luck. That's discipline disguised as confidence. Casinos will always be dazzling, unpredictable, and beautifully engineered. But now you know how they really work. The myths are gone. The power's back in your hands. Decide before you play what winning means, then walk when you hit it. That's the only way to beat the game long-term. With control, not luck. Even after everything you've learned, one myth still lingers. The belief that skill doesn't matter in a casino. People often say, "It's all luck, you can't influence the outcome." That's partly true for slots, but not for every game. What ex-dealers and analysts will tell you is this. Skill doesn't beat the system, but it shapes your survival inside it. Games like blackjack, video poker, and poker itself have strategy layers that can shrink the house edge dramatically, sometimes down to less than 1%. The difference between the casual player and the sharp one isn't luck, it's knowledge. Meanwhile, unskilled players often treat every bet as a coin toss. Fast, random, and emotional. I once watched two players side by side at a blackjack table. One followed basic strategy perfectly, the other played on gut feeling. After an hour, one was even, the other was broke. Same cards, same dealer, different discipline. Casinos count on the idea that most players won't study the math. But the rare few who do, they last longer, lose slower, and sometimes walk away ahead. Learn one game deeply. Know its odds, memorize its moves, and treat it like training, not guessing. That's how skill becomes your quiet edge. We've come full circle, through myths, psychology, and the hidden truths behind the casino's glow. But there's one final illusion worth breaking. the idea that the casino is your enemy. It isn't. It's a business, meticulously designed to trade entertainment for expectation. The danger only begins when you stop seeing it as entertainment and start seeing it as income. Casinos thrive on emotion, excitement, hope, revenge after a loss. The moment you start chasing, they've already won. But when you step in with awareness, limits, and purpose, you reclaim control. You become the kind of player who enjoys the spectacle, not the spiral. That's what separates the smart players from the trapped ones. A retired pit boss once told me, "The happiest gamblers aren't the ones who win the most, they the ones who stop on time." It's not about never playing. It's about knowing when you've already gotten what you came for. The real myth isn't in the machines. It's in believing you can outthink the system forever. The truth? You don't need to. You just need to outthink your own impulses. Play for stories, not survival. If you walk out with your budget and a good memory, you already beat the odds that matter. Before we fade out, let's talk about what the smartest gamblers in the world truly understand: the mindset. Not the math, not the machines, but the emotional discipline that keeps everything in balance. Because every myth we've exposed so far has one thing in common: it feeds off emotion. Hope, fear, pride, the perfect cocktail for chaos. Casinos aren't just testing your luck, they're testing your patience. They reward impulse and punish control. The lights flash faster when you win small. The music swells when you almost hit. Every detail is engineered to nudge you one more spin. That's why the real secret weapon isn't inside the machine. It's inside you. I once met an old poker pro in Laughlin who said, "The house edge is nothing compared to the human edge." He meant that willpower beats odds over time. Walk in with a clear head, a fixed budget, and a timer on your phone, and suddenly, the casino loses its power. Never play when you're tired, angry, or chasing. The moment you feel emotion steering your hand, step away. You're not gambling anymore, you're reacting. Because in the end, the smartest players aren't the ones who win the most. They're the ones who know exactly when to stop. Let's close with the part casinos never advertise: the exit strategy. Every smart player has one, but most people don't even think about it until they're broke or exhausted. See, casinos design every step of your experience to make leaving hard. The long walk to the doors, the music that never stops, the machines that tease one more spin before you go. It's not coincidence, it's choreography. But the pros? They build an invisible wall. A plan before the first spin, a promise before the first bet. Some use a win goal: double up, then cash out. Others set a strict loss limit and walk the moment they hit it. The trick isn't to win big, it's to end clean. I once saw a woman at the MGM Grand hit a small jackpot, smile, and stand up immediately. Her friends begged her to stay. She just said, "I came to win, not to give it back." That's not luck, that's wisdom. Casinos thrive on indecision. Every hesitation buys them another minute of your bankroll. So flip the script. Make the exit your biggest win. Set a timer, not a target. When it rings, walk. Leave before the magic fades, and you'll always stay ahead in the only game that matters: control. And here we are, the end of the myths, the truth beneath the neon. You've seen how casinos shape perception, how myths turn into habits, and how control quietly becomes illusion. But now you also know what they know, and that knowledge is your power. Casinos aren't evil, they're engineered. They trade on human psychology, the need for hope, the thrill of uncertainty, the chase of just one more spin. But awareness changes the game. The second you walk in knowing how it all works, you stop being the target and start being the observer. You see the layout, the lights, the rhythm, and suddenly, you're not hypnotized anymore. You're awake. Every pro, every seasoned player, every ex-casino insider agrees on one thing: the only real win is walking out with clarity. Money fades. Memories don't. And the smartest gamblers always leave with both. So next time you hear someone whisper about lucky seats or tight machines, you'll smile, because you'll know better. You'll see the system for what it is: a masterpiece of entertainment, not destiny. Respect the game, but respect yourself more. Play sharp, play small, walk tall. And remember, the casino's greatest illusion isn't the jackpot. It's the belief that you can't walk away. You can, and that's your real jackpot.